Deb, Helen. I'm Samantha Canales, hello. And also dubbed Helen Keller by Jon on a particularly ornery afternoon. Lance, who you heard earlier, is my husband, and we're friends of Jon and Dixie's. We spent many weekends together laughing and sharing stories, and got to hear impersonations of all of his poet friends. So good that when I met them, I was like, oh, it's you. So I think it was at his memorial when his friend Chris said that Jon was one of the best poets of our time, and it struck me as true. I don't think that those were the words of a grieving friend. I think that was true. Read his work, listen to it tonight, and you'll see and hear, how great he was as a poet and just in general as a human being. And thank you, Dixie, for asking me to read words for him. In his place, all of us here doing like what we can't really do, but we're trying. So, also, when the poem I'm reading is Attics in the Afterlife, and we pulled up here today, I looked at this house and I thought, this could be the attic he's talking about. It fits. It's this old house, so you get a visual with the poem. Loneliness is a wall the dead walk through when they're looking for company in my attic, of vintage clothes and stacked oak chairs with hand-carved knobs of lion heads and leather cushioned backs cat-clawed by time. My uncle wears a hand-painted tie of dice and clasped horseshoes dropping through a red sky. He shuffles cards to a murmur of clumsy laughter. A jumble of light enters his veined hands, bounces off the floorboards and through a crack in the plaster of my ceiling. He wears a Belova watch that hasn't ticked since he was led to the afterlife, and now tells time by measuring shadows. He is rubbing a shine back into his lost cufflinks when a flask drops from the secret pocket of his sport coat. And even though it is now always empty, everyone takes a pull, clinks their motel stolen glasses to the starred hierarchy of angels they aspire to. They are speaking to each other, as clouds must, in the long, drawn-out syllables of weather, a sighing vow for wind, a throat-clearing cough for thunder. They sort through a pile of yellowed newspapers that the rats have chewed into a nest to lactate their young. Miss Weber refuses to drape her shoulders in her needle-pointed shawl because the rose has faded and smells like mothballs and menthol. My uncle lights another imaginary cigarette with his invisible lighter and blows out smoke as if it were a miracle. They read their obituaries to find out what the weather was like the day they died and are disappointed so little was written about them. How Miss Fry drove her grandson to rehab until he got cured of the shakes, or Miss Thomas reshingled her house by herself in the deadening August heat, or anything about Mr. Granz's death march through the Philippines. Nothing about Mr. Eagle's heirloom tomatoes. When I open the door, I am met by a circle of dusty coats and moldy dresses and the necks of hangers where their faces should be, as if waiting for someone who just got here to open their eyes.